So let's get over to Tank. He's the man now. He is the man. The face of boxing is now being tossed around. Where do you stand on this? I'm a more of a faces of boxing guy. So who's on your faces of boxing? 'Cause I think Tank is definitely one of them.
Like my Mount Rushmore of the
Yeah.
of the current guys. I mean, I'm going with Canelo. Of
Okay.
course, he's the money train. So you gotta have. We always have one. He's like the golden boy. That was
Mm-hmm.
like the Sugar Ray Leonard, the Oscar De La Hoya, the Floyd Mayweather, now the Canelo. And we're coming to the close of the Canelo era, and we're waiting for who the next guy is going to be. Tank is knocking on that door, though, baby.
Is he
Woo!
on
We
your
were
Mount
super high on
Rushmore?
him fight night. Has to be.
Yeah.
Has to be. Of something like this. I mean, in terms of the popularity, undefeated, such a high knockout percentage. He's got to be up there. And the draw. I mean, the between ticket sales, pay-per-view numbers. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, to be the face of boxing, you've got to have money.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter if you could beat everybody. It's like Bubu Andrade at one time probably could beat everybody in the world, but there was no money there, so you're not going to have him as the face of boxing. It's
Good
not
point.
possible.
So who are your
But
other
with
two?
Tank, what's that?
Who are your other two?
Uh, where are we at? Let me see.
Right now you got
Definitely
Canelo and
Canelo.
Tank, which I agree with. That's on mine.
Canelo and Tank. Trying to think who the other big money draws are. I mean, I would Triple G would have been there a couple years ago. Definitely not anymore.
Tyson
Um,
Fury?
Tyson Fury, absolutely. Heavyweights are different. Yeah, probably Tyson Fury, and I mean, again, it was 6 months ago. It would have been Anthony Joshua, but
See, the fourth for me, like so far, our three are in line. I have Canelo. Tank belongs on it. Until Canelo falls off a complete cliff, we're about to see him fill a full stadium in Mexico. He's the guy.
yeah,
Regardless of loss to a B-Ball, he's earned that spot for sure. Tank is 100% on that on this list of faces of boxing. Tyson Fury is probably the best heavyweight. He is the best heavyweight in the world. Whether you like his
yeah.
antics or not, he sells tickets and he's a very recognizable face. The fourth one I think is really tough. There's a lot of guys out there. Anthony Joshua sells a lot of tickets. There's the Devin Haney's of the world, Spence Crawford, but they just don't fight enough. 160 is a barren wasteland. 175, Bivol and Beterbiev aren't exactly marketable, even though they're
No,
really good.
no.
So I think the fourth is Naoya Inoue. You have to have some representation over in that's the Pacific. He's huge in Japan. You got to think outside of just the U.S. It's a global sport. He sells out arenas there. He is a god amongst men in Japan. I think the fourth guy right now is very debatable, but I think it's Inoue.
I'm not sure about the numbers of him, but that came to my thought too, because for one, he is that good, and two, I mean, if he draws the numbers out there the way that you're alluding to, then yeah, but I'm just not sure about the numbers in terms of that. But otherwise, I mean, I still might have Anthony Joshua
Yeah.
because he's just that dude, man, and I think he is just a money making machine. Everyone around him makes money when he fights, and that's part of what being the face of boxing is. This is entertainment. This is a money making sport. So yeah, I think you and I can our top three are definitely it, but that fourth one,
Tough. Could be Joshua, could be
I don't
Inoue.
know if I can have a little guy being over a big guy.
Well, how about this? Like a lot of these guys that we saw this weekend, I ran into Errol Spence, and he assured me that the fight was happening with Crawford. No big deal. It's breaking news in the lobby of the MGM. But like I think a lot of these guys, like Spence Crawford, like Charlo was in attendance. Haney is obviously very hungry for big fights. Tiafim, like they probably saw this event and was like, I want that attention. Like I want some of
Oh
that.
yeah.
So let me get on the face of boxing list. Let me find my biggest contemporary out there, biggest opponent, and I want to fight in these big fights in Vegas with my face everywhere and the whole world transfixed on the fight.
Well, this fight showed you that you need a dance partner,
Yep.
right? Because neither one of these guys gets this attention without fighting each other. And you mentioned three names: Crawford, Spence, Haney. Any one of those guys can be on the Mount Rushmore of boxing right now
Mm-hmm.
as the face of boxing with a big fight. I mean, obviously we've got Spence and Crawford. They fight each other. The winner of that, right on that, he's on there. Could be number one. Then Haney beats Loma, and then he beats Tank right there.
Yep.
I think it's going to take more than beating Loma to be like a crossover star, but he beats Tank,
It's on his way.
takes his spot. Definitely, he's on his way already. But if he beats Loma, because Loma, I think, has a lot of eyes from the outside sport, but I think a lot of people also are looking at him like he's a little long in the tooth
Yeah.
and hasn't been that active recently. But you beat Loma, that definitely gets people perked. Now you beat Tank, who we do both have on that face of boxing discussion, boom, you're now there. So yeah, that's the thing, man. It's boxing. It's what have you done for me lately? Everyone's one fight away from being, the man or
Yeah.
or a bum.
It's
Unfortunately,
crazy,
that's
man.
what people say.
It's such
Crazy.
a week to week sport. Yeah, I follow it like crazy, and I'm still like, once this fight's over, I'm forgetting about it. But this one got some staying power. This Tank Ryan fight. There's so much ramifications, and it got me thinking about the next mega fight. Like, I don't think there's any fight on the remaining calendar outside of like the heavyweights. If we do get that crazy card,
and Fury, yeah.
like that's gonna like captivate the boxing world and the sports world. But the closest one is Spence and Crawford. And saw Spence. I took a selfie with him, and the dude is in shape. He's clearly getting ready for a fight. I think Spence Crawford, which from all indications that is gonna happen sometime this summer. From everything Espinosa's saying, that's the next big one. I think that's the one that can get people excited. Even if it's a few years late, they're still at the top of their game. They're still 1-2 in pound-for-pound list, 1-2 definitely in the welterweight division. I think that's the next big one that we're going to be at. I think that's the next big one that fans can get excited about. It's not going to have the same crossover effect that Ryan and Gervonta did, because I think that was just a perfect storm. But it's still the next biggest one that I'm excited for.
Yeah, and that one's going to pull in casuals. It's so Tank and Ryan, they pulled in hardcore boxing fans because we love Tank. Everyone loves Tank, who's a real boxing fan. Ryan posed a danger. We wanted to see that. It pulled in the casuals because you can't not hear about these two guys and them each other fighting. And then it pulled in like TikTokers and kids who want to see Ryan. So that was a little different fight. With Spence and Crawford, you're looking at hardcore boxing fans, obviously, but then you're also like the casuals, because everyone talks about, every barbershop conversation has Crawford and Spence in it. So there's gonna be a massive draw for that fight as well. Not quite like this one because of the outside of the boxing world eyes that got brought in, but marketed the right way, that fight's gonna do big numbers too.
You know why it's going to be a little bit different than Ryan and Tank? The traditionalists will say that this is a better fight, and I agree with them. This is 1 versus 2.
Oh, yeah.
This is for
Definitely.
all the belts
Much
at
better
welterweight. This is the most prestigious division in boxing outside of heavyweight. Like, the one thing I guess that was missing from Tank Ryan is, like, no one really believed that Garcia was on the same level as a Tank. Like, obviously Tank's elite. Spence Crawford, you're talking about two elites. You're talking about the two best of this generation. We're going to figure out who is the best welterweight in the world. So it has that going for it, where it might not have the crossover appeal for, some kids here in the office, but damn, we're going to figure out who's the best welterweight of the last 10 years. I'm getting myself worked into a lather. Are we going to get this fight? Damn it. Are we going to get it?